So I have the challenge of trying to translate a lot of the great research into policy messages, which is a topic we'll be getting into more in our panel today. So what I'm going to be presenting here are some of our 5 key takeaways for policy and practice that are highlighted in our forthcoming policy brief. So first, as Kendra mentioned, non-formal life skills programs appear to be targeting easy to reach and easy to identify youth and are missing a critical opportunity to serve the most marginalized girls. You also need to keep in mind that our study looked at non-formal life skills programming broadly in Ethiopia, Lebanon, and Tanzania, and not specifically at programs that are targeting girls. So there's that caveat. But even with this broad investigation, we were surprised that a majority of the programs did not use any background criteria to target program participants. And as Kendra mentioned, this translates into the majority of program participants not meeting even one condition of vulnerability, which again, as we defined in the study, was a girl who has a disability, is orphaned, not at school, or dropped out of school, lives with people who are not her parents, or has a father who is unemployed. Given that the non-formal education sector holds a unique position to provide opportunities for skills development to populations for whom the formal education sector, classrooms, schools, government schools, has failed or cannot reach, this is particularly alarming. Marginalized girls are more likely to drop out of the formal education system due to early marriage, pregnancy, financial constraints within the home, gender norms, and so on. And education is sometimes only accessible to them through non-formal education initiatives. Second, while programs are attempting to teach a breadth of skills, there is either a narrow focus on skills for self-improvement, so things like confidence or emotional regulation, or on technical vocational skills needed for better livelihoods. There also seems to be confusion in what programs are calling life skills, as Kendra mentioned around the definition. And what we also have said here at Brookings is that, much of this might even stem from the term itself, life skills, which tends to focus us on the skills itself, when in many times we're talking about areas of knowledge and attitudes that may need further development. And last year, we developed a conceptual framework for practitioners to help address this problem. Some of you in the room may have already seen this video. If you have, please bear with us. And for those of you who are new to this, we suggest that the definition issue can be resolved if we focus on the underlying knowledge, skills, and attitudes that constitute a broad range of competencies that enable girls to thrive. And even more importantly, the confusion around life skills, we think, can be resolved if we begin to attend to the processes in which girls can translate these competencies into empowered action in the context of mediating factors, policies, institutions, and so on, that may influence whether or not and to what degree she can apply those skills in diverse real-life situations. So I will. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just, slight technical difficulty. All right. We'll come back to the video later. So, third, and related to this problem around defining life skills education, is how can we measure what we can't define? The life skills programs in our study are clearly being evaluated, as Kendra pointed out, but there appears to be a gap between what we want to measure and what assessments are actually capturing. Currently, there is an over-reliance on self-reported measures. It's very easy to, in a program evaluation, ask girls how they feel after having done a program intervention. But what we need more are process-oriented measures that can capture whether and how girls are actually applying these skills in concrete and ideally empowering ways. We also need longitudinal measures in order to better understand the relationship between life skills development and girls' life outcomes. For example, while a self-report measure, again, might tell us how a girl feels after a program, it tells us little about whether she has actually developed that skill or skill sets, whether she can apply it in a situation outside of the program environment or the learning environment, and to what degree that skill is efficacious in actually helping her to change or improve a life outcome that is as much dependent on the receptivity of others to her action as it is on the actual skills that she may have acquired in the program. Fourth, while policy contexts appear ripe for scaling life skills education, non-formal life skills practitioners appear to be missing a key opportunity to inform evidence-based policy. In our study, even though all 3 countries had adopted a national or regional framework on life skills, the priorities of the non-formal life skills programs in our study appear to be defined by other agendas, whether that's the implementing organization, donors, the communities with whom they work. This gap suggests that there could be more done to align policy and practice. And given the proximity of non-formal life skills implementers to individual girls, their families, and their communities, these practitioners are well positioned to ensure girls' voices, their perceptions, and their strategic needs are represented in policy dialogue on girls and skills. And this is particularly important when we think about the policy spheres where girls are easily overlooked and their voices easily silenced. Finally, our focus on non-formal life skills programs generated key lessons that actors in the formal education sector can learn about improving opportunities for girls' life skills development. Indeed, formal education sector uptake of best practices developed by the non-formal education space is paramount to ensuring that widespread systems and social change for girls actually happens. And in particular, our study pointed to the importance of 3 things. First, preparing teachers to act as facilitators or mentors through pre-course trainings and by providing regular feedback and evaluation on their performance. Second, it also points to the importance of equipping teachers with the tools to use more participatory pedagogies in their classrooms that help girls and boys to develop many of the non-cognitive, social, and interpersonal skills that undergird most definitions of life skills. Third, it also pointed to the importance of integrating the teaching of life skills into the curriculum in the classroom rather than to treat life skills as a separate standalone subject. So before I get to recommendations, I'm going to just play the video just so you guys can see it. If I could have some. Sure. It's on this one.
This is Aaliyah, a 14-year-old girl who loves going to school. Around the world, girls like Aaliyah encounter challenges that life skills can help them navigate. But what are life skills? They are networks of knowledge, skills, and attitudes developed over time. Together, KSA networks form competencies that strengthen a girl's ability to function, thrive, and adapt to daily realities, as well as to change the course of her life outcomes at pivotal moments in her life. Here, Aaliyah faces a new life challenge. Her parents want her to get married soon. In a situation like this, Aaliyah can draw upon her knowledge, such as knowing the benefits of completing her education, and skills such as her capacity to set goals, assess potential risk, and her attitudes on gender equality and human rights. Once activated, these KSAs enable her to formulate a set of actions that may not have been possible before. But moving from skills to empowered action isn't so straightforward. The process of translation is complicated by and influenced by mediating factors. These include agency and opportunity structures. Here, Aaliyah's boyfriend now wants to initiate sexual intercourse. But does her boyfriend recognize that she is an agent of her own life? That she can exert control over her life as she chooses? Her ability to see and make choices will influence whether she can translate her KSAs into action, like convincing her partner to delay intercourse, or to use contraceptives, or to have him leave the room. In addition to her agency, are there opportunity structures in her environment, such as policy, social norms, and cultural contexts that will enable or inhibit her opportunities and choices? In Aaliyah's case, it matters whether or not she's had the opportunity to read a pamphlet on contraception, whether there is legislation mandating jail time for perpetrators of rape, and whether she's had the opportunity to have participated in a life skills program that taught her how to communicate assertively. As Aaliyah goes through her life, her KSA networks can become weaker or stronger. But her ability to translate them into empowered action depends on more than just the life skills she develops. This translation is mediated by the opportunity structures present or absent, and whether her agency is recognized by others. Viewing life skills development and translation as this dynamic and social process will help us help girls like Aaliyah achieve improved life outcomes as well as wider transformative social change that will influence the life and opportunities of others around her and of those who will come after her.
All right, thank you. And thank you for permitting me the extra few minutes just to play the video. All right, so our recommendations then for helping the field move forward. Sorry. All computers are so different. Okay, here we go. Let's try that again. Okay, here we go. So the first one, improve targeting of participants to reach marginalized and vulnerable girls. I think all of us, hands down, can agree on that one. The second is to design life skills programs that are more intentional and purposeful about the actual knowledge, skills, and attitudes girls need to achieve transformative life outcomes and social change. The third one is to develop process-oriented measures of life skills and to invest in longitudinal data that allows us to better see the connections between life skills development and her life outcomes. The fourth one is to build more non-formal sector coalitions to generate more evidence that will inform girls-centered policy and action. I think we'll have somebody speaking with us today during our panel who might be able to speak a little bit more on those networks, as well as our Girls Charge Network. And the last one is to create regular opportunities for learning between formal and non-formal education stakeholders to ensure wider systems change for girls. So with that, I just want to thank you all for your attention, and I'd like to invite our panelists up as we dive into a few more discussion topics.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos from Brookings.